I guess just starting off for you guys as a defensive unit, what are kind of the goals you have for fall camp?
Sort of like always, you got to kind of a balance between learning defenses and installing defenses, but also really keeping the main thing for, which is us. It's just, we gotta play hard every day. We gotta play fast every day. We gotta try to play physical every day. We gotta do things fundamentally sound and every day. So I mean, that's kind of where we're, still trying to coach a lot of that. We do it every day, but particularly now, just trying to establish the habits that we want, and so far so good on some of that stuff. At the same time, though, we've got to put defenses in too, and get repetitions at doing that. So just trying to find that balance, but really trying to get guys to lock in on, hey, we need to just bring it every day. And it's only 2 days in, so it's hard to gauge all of that. I think we've had 2 pretty good practices, but there's obviously a lot more and a lot more time.
I'm sure we'll ask the same question later, but for you projecting through the rest of fall camp and into the season, improving on defense, where do you see that improvement really coming, or where do you hope it shows up?
Well, we've really returned a lot of players. Quite honestly, they got a lot of snaps, and they've been, a lot of guys have been playing for a couple years, and probably the first year or so for most of those guys, they probably shouldn't have been playing, but they were, and so now those guys they're really stepping into, hopefully they're coming into their own right now. So I have confidence we're going to be a better unit, just based on the experience that guys have, the playing experience that guys have, and I think we've had a lot of guys that have done a lot of great physical development since the end of last season. So I think all those kind of things are just going to help us to obviously be better, and again, the longer we're at it, I think the more just understanding of what it is we are, what we want to be, how we want to do it. I think guys just have a clearer picture of that, which I think all those things together help allow us to make the strides that we're looking for this year.
Defensive line is one of the position groups where there's more sort of open spots compared to the others. What have you seen so far in terms of competition in that group?
Great competition. I take nothing away from the guys that were there last year. They're good men and good players, and all those kind of things. But we did have some. We were able to, a few of those guys got some playing time last year also. So it's not like nobody's got experience there, and we were able to bring in a couple of pieces in there that I think are really going to help us. 2 or 3 guys in there, 4 maybe, that can really help us. So I think we're faster. I think we're probably a little bit more athletic overall across the front up there this year, and surprisingly, guys have some pretty good strength numbers too. So I don't know who the star is right now. I don't know if we have one necessarily, but I think we've got 7 or 8 guys across the board up front that can play and that can flash at times. So it's hopeful.
What do you like about what Devin Phillips gives you in that way?
Yeah, he's a really good leader for really being his last spring's his first semester. I think he's a good example every day about kind of how to be a pro, how you go about your business, and he's got a good personality on top of it. So I think guys kind of gravitate towards him a little bit and really respect him as a person and as a ball player. And he's as a player, I think he really does have some quickness and some knack to play in there. Just got a good feel for things. So I think he's going to be more than just a space taker upper. He'll be able to make some plays also.
Jeremy had said that he felt like you guys were turning them loose a bit more, letting them play more free. Do you agree with that?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what he would exactly mean by that, but we're trying to incorporate some movement and some things into things that we do, so it's not just static across the front all the time. So in that way, I think we're trying to do a little bit more pre-snap and post-snap kind of movement stuff. So, but at the end of the day, there's every position's got technique and just the fundamental aspects of things, and so we're not just letting guys do whatever they want to do. Obviously, we've got a rein on that kind of stuff, but we're always trying to the best players, your good players, you want to play to their strengths too. So sometimes that's not, and so we're trying to find out what those strengths are and adapt some things to get our best guys on the field and let them do what they do best.
You mentioned the athleticism up front there. Was that a personnel thing or a training thing with guys you had already, or a little of both?
I think both. Obviously, we have brought in some guys through the transfer portal and things like that have really added to that. Some length and just some speed and some quickness kind of things that we wanted. So, but we've also had guys that have just within the program have really gained strength and weight. DJ Withers and Caleb Taylor on the inside are guys that are man, they look awesome, and they've really worked at it. So I think both aspects of that. I give our strength coaches at staff a lot of credit, because they in our dietitian staff, they really do a good job of just really staying with guys and on a daily basis and making sure that guys are progressing the way they should, and hopefully we're seeing some results.
Hey Brian, last year Craig Young was second on the team in sacks, linebacker. I don't know if that's something you guys look at more creative ways to get some pressure and stuff in the offseason.
We have, and some of that might involve him, some of that might involve even some other guys, but Craig is just such a valuable piece of what we're doing. Said he's kind of changed my thinking about, he's a linebacker that can also, he plays like a safety for us in a lot of ways. So, to have that kind of versatility, he's fast, he's really got a lot stronger. You look at him, he's really kind of, put on some good muscle mass, and yeah, he coming off the edge or something like that, he showed he can do it. So we'd be foolish not to continue to do those kind of things. But it's a kind of sometimes I think some of the things we're doing is kind of an evolving thing. Again, it's not just, we're just going to do the same thing, and that's what we're doing. We have some of the same things, but again, we got to look at who we do have, who are the players that we do have, what are their strengths, what can they do, and how can we put those guys in a good spot to utilize those skills. And I think we're developing a good package for, that Craig's part of that, but there's other guys also that I think that'll help us.
Does he have a different position then, or a position name, or is it?
He plays different positions in different packages. So okay. He could be our hawk backer, our Cinco backer, our dime backer. He's a lot of things according to the package, but the position he plays for us, that's what we call him. He's a field backer. He's either hawk, or if it's in our nickel package, it's our Cinco guy, and that's what he does. So when we change packages, he just stays and does them both. So where if he's not in there, then we probably got to do more substituting to compensate. So that's kind of really a plus.
Gotcha. I think he said in the spring that he feels like it's his time. I mean, after being here a year and kind of feeling comfortable making that transition, he feels like now is his time. I
would agree. He's really serious about what he's doing, he works hard at his craft. I see him out there pre-practice. He's out there by himself working on things, and not every guy is motivated to do that. So I think he's got some goals, and I think he really sees that he can really step into his own. I think he started to do that last year. I think this would be a year where he could really, really step into his own, and fired up about that. Good song.
You mentioned the athleticism improving over last season. How important is that in terms of just getting to where you guys want to be at the defensive line spot?
Well, I think that's as big a as big a piece as anything to helping us improve. Is we know that we've got tremendous young men in our program, and they do everything we ask and how we ask them to do it. So I have no problem with anybody like that. But there was times last year where we were we were a good, solid, kind of a dominant unit once in a while, but that wasn't an every week thing. So we've talked a lot about being the strong link in the chain and not the weak link in the chain. So that week in and week out, we give ourselves a chance to win, regardless of whatever else happens. I give you a good example. Like we beat Iowa State last year, 14-11. We got beat by Texas, 55-14. Well, the common denominator is we scored 14 points each game, but the difference was how much they scored. So we've just got to be more. We've got to be more like the Iowa State week. We just need to be more consistently that way. And I really feel like guys are bought into that, and they understand that, and everybody has pride, and we're done being the weak link. We're gonna be a strong link in the chain this year. So that's a kind of our focus.
Did you feel any sort of pressure to make like huge overhaul changes, or do you feel like you were pretty focused on just continuing whatever process you had in place?
Well, yeah, I don't know about huge overall changes, and I don't feel pressure. So, I have confidence in myself. I have confidence in our coaches. I have confidence in what we're doing and how we're trying to do it. I would tell you it'd be dishonest to say that we didn't evaluate every aspect of our defense last year. Our methods, our scheme, how we're coaching, what can we do better to prepare guys. I think we've looked at all that stuff. I think we've been able to make some changes, some smaller changes that I think have really helped us and will continue to help us. And like I said, I don't think we really feel the pressure. I know the pressure is not always bad. You should feel some kind of pressure, but that should be, coming from you a little bit more, your own expectations, not really worried about what somebody else's expectations of you. Nobody's expectations are going to be higher than ours for ourselves, and me for myself. So, in that respect, I have confidence going forward and can't wait to get after it.
Brian, you had Lonnie Phillips as that rush guy last year. Who are kind of the guys you're looking at for that spot?
Well, Hayden Hatcher also played quite a bit last year. He's played quite a bit over the last 2 years. He's put on some weight, and I think he can do that. I don't know right now that we think we know well for sure. Hey, we have this next pass rusher, and over the last 2 years we've had a guy that guy can just do it, and I don't know that we have that guy yet, but I think we're some developing pieces in that area. I'm trying to think, guys I could maybe mention to you that would do a good job. Maybe Dylan Brooks is a guy that I think we have some hope for. The Auburn transfer, big long body. That guys run pretty good. Davion Westmoreland, same way. So there's a couple of guys that I think that we have hope for that will step up in that area. We've also experimented a little bit with some of our linebackers that maybe could be an edge rusher sometimes. So we're kind of working all that kind of stuff and see what develops in that area. But I think we know that we've got to be able to manufacture pass rush without sending the house all the time, and so we're hopeful for some guys to step up. Jeremy Robinson is a guy that, again, at times they've all wow, that's it, but it hasn't been as consistent maybe as it needs to be, and we're all we can do is work at it. So try to find the right pieces.
Rich mentioned yesterday that you guys are a lot more ready to play and the energy level is higher than previous years. Would you kind of say that's the case?
Yeah, I think there's more readiness, more confidence. I think confidence would breed the readiness. So I believe we're a more confident group. As I said, I think we have high expectations of ourselves and not necessarily satisfied with the results week in and week out over the last couple of years, quite honestly. So I think guys are hungry to prove to themselves and hopefully the world that it's a different year, it's a different unit, and again, I think we'll be able to play up to the level that we need to.
How much do you feel like the experience you have at the safety is going to help?
Great, you can put 3 guys in there that have played a heck of a lot of football over their careers, and I think they're kind of the quarterbacks of the coverage and the defense back there, and have a lot of confidence that regardless of whatever we're calling, they understand what's happening. They see formations, they see alignments, and they make the calls and the checks that need to get made. So 2 years ago, I was sweating bullets every play, not really knowing what was going to happen. I would, quite honestly, I would tell you I don't lose any sleep about that kind of stuff right now. With those guys, obviously, and there's some more behind that as well. So they had a lot of experience, and again, they've those guys are. It's a competitive position because they know there's not just one guy. There's several guys that have played at a pretty high level at various points. So they've got to be sharp, and I think that's hopefully kind of winding up that position to just even raise it to a little bit of a higher level. And so far, guys have been doing a really awesome job.
Anything else for Coach? All right.
Thanks, Russ.